Have you ever wondered why silence feels so powerful yet unsettling? Picture this. Someone accuses you falsely. Whispers circulate about your integrity. Or perhaps you've experienced the sharp betrayal of someone you trusted deeply. Instinctively, your heart pounds, your throat tightens, and an overwhelming urge to speak out, to correct, to defend yourself overtakes you. Yet, there lies a hidden power in the exact opposite response: silence. Not the passive silence of surrender, but the intentional, controlled silence born from strength, clarity, and wisdom. In our hyper-connected world, filled with constant noise and endless reactions, silence has become rare, misunderstood, and even feared. But consider for a moment that silence isn't emptiness, it's strategy. It's not weakness, it's profound strength. It is not ignorance, it's a conscious decision to rise above petty battles and unnecessary drama. Imagine the power you possess when you choose calmness over chaos, when you refuse to engage in emotional battles that drain your energy, dignity, and peace of mind. Stoicism, the ancient philosophy revered by great leaders, thinkers, and visionaries like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, teaches that our ultimate power lies not in controlling external events, but in mastering our internal reactions. Stoics understood deeply that not every provocation deserves a response. Not every insult demands retaliation, and certainly not every lie warrants a rebuttal. But how do you embrace such silence effectively in real life? How can silence actively transform your circumstances, turning perceived weakness into undeniable strength? What situations exactly call for such radical silence? Today I'm going to reveal the profound wisdom behind knowing exactly when silence speaks louder than words. The 7 pivotal moments when stepping back quietly is infinitely more impactful than any verbal response you could offer. In this video, we'll explore how the intentional practice of silence becomes your greatest ally against manipulation, deceit, betrayal, and provocation. We'll examine real-life scenarios where silence does not imply defeat, but announces your unshakable self-respect and self-mastery louder than any words ever could. Imagine the colleague who tries to undermine your achievements publicly, expecting you to retaliate or defend yourself desperately, yet you remain calmly silent. Visualize the friend or partner who betrays your trust, expecting emotional turmoil and drama, yet you respond with serene detachment. Envision those moments when rumors spread wildly, distorting who you are, yet your consistent silence and continued dignity dismantle those lies without lifting a finger. Throughout this journey, you'll discover the transformative power of silence to expose truth, to protect your energy, and to uphold your dignity. You'll learn why the greatest revenge is not to become like your adversaries, how silence frustrates manipulators more than any confrontation, and why stepping back often compels others to reflect deeply on their own actions. I promise you this, by the end of this exploration, you won't view silence the same way again. You'll recognize it not as absence, but as presence. The presence of immense self-control, unshakable self-worth, and profound wisdom. You'll understand why Marcus Aurelius famously declared, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So if you've ever felt unfairly attacked, misunderstood, undervalued, or betrayed, or simply wondered how to maintain your composure in a turbulent world, this video is for you. If you want to master the subtle art of letting silence speak volumes, hold the power in moments of chaos, and learn to navigate life with calm authority and profound confidence, then stay right here, because the next few minutes will transform your approach forever. Before we dive in, take a moment to reflect. Have you ever regretted words spoken in haste, emotion-driven reactions, or unnecessary explanations that made you feel weaker rather than stronger? Let's like and subscribe True Stoic Way channel and type inner peace in the comments right now if you're committed to mastering the strength of silence from today forward. Now let's delve deep into the 7 precise moments when silence isn't just recommended, it's absolutely necessary. Stick with me until the end, because the final scenario will completely shift your perspective on silence forever. Ready? Let's begin. Have you ever experienced the sharp sting of false accusations? Imagine someone crafting stories about you, twisting your intentions, and spreading lies. Lies that distort your character and tarnish your reputation. The natural instinct is to jump to your defense immediately, to correct the misinformation, to passionately declare your innocence. But here's the profound truth that Stoicism reveals to us. Sometimes speaking out in defense is the quickest way to reinforce suspicion. Think about it. The more you struggle to explain yourself, the more desperate you seem. Every word meant to clarify can become twisted ammunition for those who thrive on drama. Each attempt at proving your innocence can inadvertently appear as guilt, as if you're performing your virtue rather than embodying it. This paradox is deeply unsettling because it strikes at our most human instincts to speak our truth and defend our honor. Yet, Stoicism teaches us that silence in these moments isn't a surrender, but a sophisticated strategy. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, wisely advised, "If it is not true, do not say it. If it is not right, do not do it." What he meant is elegantly simple. Your integrity doesn't need words to survive. It stands independently, unshakable, regardless of external opinions or manipulations. Truth in its purest form is patient. It endures through falsehoods and misunderstandings without needing immediate validation. Truth does not sprint. It persists quietly, surely, until reality aligns inevitably with clarity. Let's dive deeper into the powerful Stoic concept behind this. When you respond emotionally, you empower your accuser. You give credibility to their false narratives by lending them your energy and attention. Instead of quenching the flames of gossip and falsehood, your reaction often fuels them further. Those spreading lies rarely seek truth. Rather, they desire your reaction, the proof that their words have impacted you, unsettled you, and disturbed your peace. To illustrate, consider this scenario. Imagine a man named Alex. Alex was hardworking, diligent, and consistently professional at his job. Yet one day, whispers began to circulate around the office. Rumors about misconduct, slander about incompetence, all baseless and false. His co-workers began to distance themselves. Meetings felt colder, and whispers became impossible to ignore. Alex's initial instinct, of course, was to defend himself. But instead, remembering Stoic wisdom, he chose a different path. He chose silence. Days turned into weeks, and still Alex didn't react. He continued performing his duties with dignity and excellence. He allowed his actions, not words, to silently and powerfully communicate the truth. Gradually, something remarkable happened. The absence of Alex's emotional reactions robbed the rumors of their power. Without fuel, gossip dies quietly, starved by lack of attention. Eventually, the truth emerged on its own. Alex's integrity was undeniable, his consistent excellence unquestionable. Those who had spread falsehoods were left exposed, their motives obvious, their credibility shattered. This is the profound wisdom of silence in action. When you refuse to engage, you maintain the higher ground. You elevate yourself above pettiness and rumor, and most importantly, you preserve your inner peace and dignity. Stoicism reminds us that no external force can truly harm you without your permission. You alone have control over your internal state, and your power lies precisely in how you respond, or choose not to respond, to external provocations. But let's clarify something crucial here. Silence doesn't mean passivity or weakness. It's a disciplined, intentional act of strength. It shows mastery over your impulses, reflecting emotional maturity and exceptional self-awareness. It's your powerful statement saying clearly to the world, "I know who I am, and no external noise can distort that." Your refusal to engage isn't surrender, it's strategy, confidence, and clarity, and it makes you practically invulnerable to external manipulation. The legendary Stoic Seneca observed, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." When someone lies about you, the pain comes primarily from your reaction to their words, not the words themselves. Once you realize this, you reclaim immense power. You understand that accusations, falsehoods, and attacks are only harmful if you choose to internalize them. Your silence thus becomes not just a shield, but a beacon of emotional strength and clarity. Now imagine harnessing this strength consistently in your life. Imagine a reality where false accusations no longer rattle you, where your calm demeanor dismantles lies effortlessly, where your silence commands respect without uttering a single word. This reality is not fantasy, it is entirely achievable through the disciplined practice of Stoic silence. If these ideas resonate deeply with you, consider subscribing right now to our channel, True Stoic Way. Here at True Stoic Way, our mission is to guide you through life's challenges with timeless wisdom, practical advice, and profound clarity. Join our growing community committed to emotional resilience, personal integrity, and authentic living. Hit the subscribe button, and together we will master the art of powerful silence and transformative self-control. As we move forward, the journey continues. Up next, we'll explore another deeply challenging scenario. How should you react when someone betrays your trust deeply, leaving you hurt and confused? Do you confront them, fight back, or quietly step away? The Stoic answer might surprise you, offering another profound lesson in strength through silence. Are you ready? Let's keep moving forward, deeper into the wisdom of Stoicism. Have you ever felt the deep, soul-shaking impact of betrayal? Picture someone you trusted implicitly, a close friend, a trusted colleague, or perhaps even a family member, suddenly turning against you. Imagine the person who once stood by your side, now using your vulnerabilities against you, undermining your trust, and exploiting your openness. It's a profoundly painful experience, one that shakes your very foundation, making you question not only others, but also yourself. Betrayal is particularly devastating because it doesn't come from strangers. It comes from people you've allowed into your innermost circle. Your first impulse might be to confront the betrayer, to ask, "How could you?" To demand explanations, to lash out and make them feel the pain they've inflicted upon you. It seems justified. After all, they've broken a sacred bond. But here's where Stoicism offers a radical perspective. The strongest, most powerful response isn't confrontation or vengeance. It's silence. Consider this carefully. When someone betrays you, they often expect a reaction. They anticipate your anger, your heartbreak, and your confusion. Indeed, part of their betrayal's satisfaction comes from witnessing your emotional turmoil. They desire your reaction because it validates their power over you. Every emotional response you offer gives them exactly what they want: attention, validation, and the twisted satisfaction of knowing they've disrupted your peace. However, what if you chose not to engage? What if, instead of reacting, you remain silent, calm, composed, utterly unbothered? This, according to Stoic philosophy, is the ultimate demonstration of strength. The Roman philosopher Seneca articulated this perfectly. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Betrayal, painful as it is, offers a powerful opportunity for growth. It forces you to distinguish clearly between who you thought someone was and who they truly are. This clarity, while harsh, is essential. Imagine Sarah, a woman deeply betrayed by her closest friend. For years, they had shared everything: dreams, fears, secrets. Then suddenly, Sarah discovered that this friend had undermined her behind her back, revealing confidential matters and sabotaging her success out of jealousy and insecurity. Sarah's initial reaction was a fierce desire for confrontation, to make her friend feel the betrayal's pain, to unleash her hurt and anger. But Sarah chose differently. Inspired by Stoicism, she embraced silence. There was no dramatic confrontation, no accusations, no emotional turmoil publicly displayed. Sarah simply withdrew her presence quietly and decisively. This quiet exit was profound. Without confrontation, her friend had no stage upon which to play out the drama she expected. Her friend's anticipation of chaos turned to confusion, then anxiety, and eventually profound discomfort. Sarah's silence was powerful. It carried weight. Silence forced her betrayer to face the emptiness left behind by their actions. Silence spoke louder than words could ever manage. In the void Sarah left, reflection was unavoidable. By not responding emotionally, Sarah preserved her dignity, reclaimed her peace, and demonstrated profound inner strength. Stoicism teaches that betrayal reveals more about the betrayer than about the betrayed. The actions taken against you are not reflections of your character, but demonstrations of theirs. Your silence doesn't imply acceptance or forgiveness. Instead, it conveys that you refuse to participate in their drama. You refuse to diminish your character by responding in kind. You choose peace over conflict, dignity over retaliation. Here's something crucial to remember. The betrayal itself is painful enough. You don't need to inflict further emotional damage upon yourself by dwelling on it. The legendary Stoic Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Your reaction is within your control, and your greatest power lies precisely in choosing not to give away your emotional energy." The world often misunderstands silence, equating it with weakness or passivity. Yet, in reality, silence is among the most potent displays of emotional maturity and strength. It takes immense discipline to remain calm in the face of betrayal, to not react impulsively, and to let time clarify and resolve the truth. It shows a depth of character that words could never adequately express. So how can you practically implement this Stoic wisdom? First, acknowledge the betrayal internally without absorbing it as a reflection of your worth. Second, resist the urge to confront immediately. Instead, step back and give yourself time to process. Third, understand that not every betrayal requires your active response. Silence and strategic detachment are often enough to restore balance and clarity. If this wisdom resonates with you, join our community at True Stoic Way. Subscribe now to gain continuous insights into Stoicism's practical applications, emotional resilience, and profound wisdom for navigating life's most challenging moments. Together, let's master the art of powerful silence, unshakable dignity, and transformative self-control. As we continue our exploration, we'll next discuss how you should respond when someone openly insults or mocks you, seeking to provoke an emotional reaction. What is the Stoic method to handle personal insults? How can you maintain dignity without falling into their emotional trap? The answers are empowering and illuminating. Ready to dive deeper into Stoicism's profound teachings? Let's keep going. Have you ever experienced the sharp sting of being insulted or mocked openly? Picture a scenario where someone publicly targets you with biting sarcasm, passive-aggressive remarks, or outright insults. These moments aren't just uncomfortable. They challenge your sense of self-worth and dignity, testing your emotional resilience to its limits. The immediate reaction, almost instinctual, is to strike back, to defend yourself, to match their hostility with your own. But Stoicism teaches a profoundly different and remarkably powerful response: silence. Consider this deeply. Insults are tools used primarily by individuals who lack true strength. Those who resort to insults often seek validation through your reaction. They want to see your composure shaken, your emotions unraveled, because it temporarily elevates their sense of power. But what happens when you refuse to engage? When instead of firing back, you remain calm, composed, utterly unfazed? The dynamic shifts dramatically, leaving the insulter perplexed, disempowered, and ultimately exposed. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, famously declared, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Reflect on this carefully. When you respond to insults with anger or hurt, you effectively lower yourself to your attacker's level. You enter a battle designed specifically to disrupt your peace. By contrast, silence isn't merely about avoiding confrontation. It is about demonstrating unmatched self-control and profound inner strength. Imagine David, an employee who earned a well-deserved promotion at work. At the celebration event, a colleague filled with jealousy and insecurity loudly mocked him in front of everyone. "Wow, I guess they'll promote just about anyone now." The room fell silent, eyes turned to David, awaiting his reaction. It was an obvious attempt to provoke him into an emotional confrontation, to tarnish his moment of accomplishment. David, however, chose the Stoic path. He did not defend himself, nor did he retaliate. Instead, he calmly met his colleague's gaze, smiled slightly, and remained perfectly silent. His composure spoke louder than any words could have. The silence in that room became deafening, highlighting not David's weakness, but his remarkable strength. It exposed his attacker's jealousy and insecurity clearly to everyone else. In that moment, David didn't just retain his dignity, he elevated it. Stoicism emphasizes the power of choosing responses over reactions. By not reacting impulsively to insults, you refuse to grant power to the attacker. Instead, your calmness and emotional control effectively strip them of the influence they desperately seek. It is a strategy that sends a powerful message. Your words do not control my emotions. You cannot shake my internal peace. Remember this crucial point. Insults reveal more about the attacker than they do about you. They highlight the insulter's internal insecurities, inadequacies, and frustrations. Stoicism guides us clearly. Do not internalize insults as reflections of your character, but rather recognize them as expressions of someone else's emotional turmoil. You have absolute control over how much power these insults hold over you. The Stoic approach is clear. Maintain your inner peace, stay true to your character, and let silence be your unbreakable shield. Seneca, another influential Stoic philosopher, wisely observed, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Insults can only harm you if you choose to accept them internally. When you respond calmly and without emotional turmoil, insults lose their effectiveness. The attacker is left frustrated, their attempt at disruption failing entirely. So how can you practically apply this wisdom? First, recognize insults for what they truly are, expressions of someone else's internal struggles. Second, refuse to provide emotional fuel. By withholding reaction, you immediately deflate the insult's impact. Lastly, let your behavior consistently reflect your values and integrity. Over time, this consistency will always speak louder than words. If this resonates deeply with you and you're committed to mastering emotional resilience and dignity, consider subscribing right now to True Stoic Way. Join our community where we explore profound Stoic teachings to help you navigate life's challenges with strength, clarity, and peace. Click subscribe and begin transforming your reactions into powerful, intentional responses. Up next, we'll uncover another critical situation. How should you react when someone persistently plays the victim, manipulating circumstances and twisting narratives? The Stoic response might just surprise you, offering yet another essential strategy to maintain clarity and emotional control. Ready to keep discovering the empowering wisdom of Stoicism? Let's move forward. Have you ever found yourself entangled in the invisible yet deeply damaging web of gossip and rumors? Imagine discovering that behind your back, whispers and twisted stories circulate, distorting your character and spreading misinformation about your life. Gossip is a quiet poison. It seeps into relationships, corrodes trust, and challenges your peace of mind, leaving you feeling betrayed, confused, and powerless. The impulse to confront, clarify, and correct each falsehood is intense, natural even. But here, once again, Stoicism provides a strikingly different and incredibly powerful alternative: silence. Consider carefully the nature of gossip. It thrives not on truth, but on drama and sensationalism. Rumors don't need accuracy, they need only intrigue to spread. When someone becomes a subject of gossip, they often feel compelled to intervene, to set the record straight, to defend their reputation. Yet, ironically, the more you attempt to clarify, the more complicated the narrative becomes. Each attempt to correct misinformation only draws further attention, giving more oxygen to the flames you desperately seek to extinguish. Marcus Aurelius brilliantly encapsulated this challenge when he said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Reflect deeply on this wisdom. Gossip itself has no real power unless you grant it significance. Your emotional reaction is what transforms idle whispers into weapons capable of disturbing your inner peace. Imagine Rachel, an accomplished and respected professional who suddenly became the center of unfounded workplace gossip. Whispers spread subtly yet quickly, damaging her relationships and making her daily interactions uncomfortable. Rachel initially felt compelled to confront every rumor directly, to prove her innocence, and to restore clarity. However, after reflecting deeply on Stoic teachings, Rachel chose a different approach: complete and intentional silence. Instead of defending herself at every turn, she allowed her consistent actions and unwavering integrity to speak for themselves. Rather than engaging with the drama, she remained focused on her tasks, exuded calmness, and continued delivering excellence. Her silence became her strongest statement, a profound demonstration of dignity and self-control. Gradually, something extraordinary happened. Without Rachel's reactions fueling them, the rumors lost momentum. People began noticing discrepancies and inconsistencies in the stories they had heard. Rachel's silence, instead of suggesting guilt or weakness, revealed strength, composure, and unquestionable integrity. Over time, the truth emerged clearly on its own, as it inevitably does. Her silence had been not only strategic, but transformative. Stoicism highlights a crucial point here. Reputation is external and beyond your full control. Your character, however, is entirely within your grasp. By maintaining your integrity consistently, you naturally undermine false narratives. Gossip thrives on uncertainty and chaos. Your composed silence introduces clarity and calm, robbing gossip of its potency. Seneca famously said, "A good character, when established, is not easily overthrown." This emphasizes that truth and integrity always withstand the test of time. Gossip, by nature transient and superficial, will inevitably falter against sustained character and consistent virtue. Practically applying this Stoic wisdom involves several steps. First, recognize gossip for what it truly is, a fleeting attempt to destabilize your peace. Second, resist the urge to respond emotionally or impulsively. Your silence communicates confidence and stability far more effectively than any defense. Third, let your consistent behavior and integrity speak volumes, dismantling false narratives effortlessly. Remember, the Stoic path doesn't advocate passive acceptance of harmful behaviors, but encourages strategic non-engagement. This approach maintains your inner peace, clarity, and emotional strength, ensuring that external disturbances, like gossip, have minimal impact on your well-being. If these insights resonate deeply with you, consider subscribing to True Stoic Way right now. At True Stoic Way, we're dedicated to guiding you through life's complexities with empowering Stoic teachings. Click subscribe to join our community, gaining practical wisdom, emotional resilience, and transformative self-control. In our next segment, we'll delve into another critical scenario. How do you handle situations when someone persistently portrays themselves as a victim, twisting reality and manipulating emotions to gain sympathy? The Stoic approach provides clarity and strength, ensuring you remain grounded and composed. Are you ready to continue mastering the empowering wisdom of Stoicism? Let's move forward. Have you ever encountered someone who consistently portrays themselves as a victim, manipulating narratives and emotions to garner sympathy? Imagine a person who constantly twists reality, reshapes facts, and distorts situations, turning you into the antagonist of their fabricated story. These scenarios are not just frustrating, they can leave you feeling emotionally drained, misunderstood, and deeply conflicted about how to respond. Your instinct might be to confront, clarify, and defend yourself vigorously. However, Stoicism once again provides a powerful and liberating approach: strategic silence. Consider carefully the dynamics at play. Individuals who adopt a perpetual victim role thrive on emotional reactions. They strategically position themselves as misunderstood, wronged, or mistreated to gain attention, validation, or control. Each time you respond with explanations or emotional rebuttals, you inadvertently strengthen their narrative. Your reactions become evidence in their distorted storyline, perpetuating a cycle of drama and confusion. Epictetus, the insightful Stoic philosopher, cautioned clearly, "To complain is always non-productive and never appropriate." Reflect deeply on this wisdom. When someone persistently plays the victim, they are not genuinely seeking resolution. They seek drama and sympathy. Engaging with their emotional manipulation only validates their behavior, reinforcing their cycle of victimhood. Imagine Olivia, a dedicated and respected team member whose colleague continuously portrayed herself as a victim. Whenever accountability was required, this colleague shifted blame, distorted facts, and elicited sympathy by appearing emotionally wounded. Initially, Olivia attempted logical explanations, offered evidence, and tried calmly clarifying the truth. But each effort backfired, making Olivia seem insensitive, defensive, or overly confrontational. Recognizing this pattern, Olivia turned to Stoic wisdom and chose a different path: intentional, composed silence. Instead of defending herself, Olivia allowed her calmness and emotional detachment to communicate her strength. By withholding emotional engagement, she no longer fueled her colleagues' manipulative drama. Over time, something remarkable happened. Without emotional fuel, the manipulative narratives began unraveling. Others around Olivia started recognizing the pattern of victimhood manipulation. Her consistent silence and composed demeanor created an environment where truth naturally surfaced. Olivia's strategic silence was not passive. It actively illuminated clarity, exposing the manipulative behavior clearly and effectively. Stoicism emphasizes a crucial distinction here. Emotional detachment does not imply indifference or weakness. Instead, it represents profound emotional maturity and exceptional self-control. By maintaining your calm, refusing to engage in manipulative narratives, you preserve your emotional health and clarity. Your silence, rather than signifying defeat, announces your unwavering self-respect and inner strength. Marcus Aurelius brilliantly articulated this principle. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Your reaction is within your complete control. Choosing strategic silence ensures you maintain emotional balance and clarity despite external manipulations. Practically applying Stoic wisdom involves clear, deliberate steps. First, recognize the manipulative pattern clearly. Understand that the issue lies within the manipulator's emotional strategy, not your genuine actions. Second, resist the urge to emotionally engage or provide unnecessary explanations. Your silence conveys strength and clarity more powerfully than any verbal defense. Third, trust time and consistency. Eventually, manipulative narratives collapse under scrutiny. If this Stoic wisdom resonates deeply, consider subscribing to True Stoic Way right now. At True Stoic Way, our mission is to guide you through life's complexities with timeless Stoic teachings, helping you cultivate emotional resilience, inner peace, and transformative self-control. Click subscribe to join our growing community, empowered by Stoicism's practical wisdom and clarity. Next, we will explore another crucial scenario. How should you respond when others consistently undervalue or ignore your efforts, leaving you feeling overlooked and invisible? The Stoic approach provides profound insights, ensuring you reclaim your dignity and emotional strength. Ready to continue this empowering journey into Stoicism? Let's keep moving forward. Feeling undervalued or consistently overlooked can be deeply disheartening. You invest your time, energy, and passion into your tasks, relationships, and responsibilities, yet find your efforts continuously unnoticed or dismissed. The pain of such consistent neglect isn't explosive. It quietly chips away at your confidence and self-esteem, leading you to question your worth and significance. Stoicism addresses precisely these subtle but profound emotional struggles. When your sincere contributions and dedicated efforts are ignored, the natural inclination might be to strive harder for acknowledgement, to amplify your presence, or demand validation. But Stoicism suggests a vastly different, more empowering response: purposeful silence and graceful withdrawal. Reflect on the wisdom of the Stoic philosopher Seneca, who stated, "Time discovers truth." In situations where your value is constantly overlooked, your consistent availability and ongoing contributions can paradoxically diminish your perceived worth. People often fail to recognize the importance of what is always present. Your continuous availability, rather than reinforcing your worth, can unintentionally render your efforts invisible. Instead, strategically stepping back and intentionally withdrawing your presence can powerfully illuminate your true value. When your contributions and support suddenly become less accessible, the void left behind clearly demonstrates your importance. This strategic absence often prompts a powerful moment of clarity for those who undervalue your efforts. Consider Jake, an individual always known for his reliability, generosity, and consistent support. Jake checked in regularly with friends, never missed colleagues' birthdays, and always offered help without hesitation. Yet gradually Jake realized that these gestures were rarely reciprocated or even genuinely appreciated. His presence had become expected, his efforts taken for granted, and his value overlooked. Initially, Jake considered confronting his friends and colleagues, demanding recognition for his efforts. However, guided by Stoicism, he instead chose strategic silence. Quietly and without drama, Jake pulled back from his usual availability. He didn't argue or explain, he simply stepped away, calmly and deliberately. At first, his absence went unnoticed, but soon the emptiness became palpable. Friends and colleagues who had relied on his constant presence began to notice his withdrawal and recognize the depth of his contributions. This quiet shift prompted sincere reflections and genuine realizations of Jake's significance. Those who truly valued him reached out to re-establish connections. Those who didn't revealed their true priorities. Jake's strategic silence, rooted in Stoic wisdom, wasn't about manipulating or punishing others. It was about clearly establishing boundaries, preserving self-respect, and affirming his intrinsic value. His dignified withdrawal highlighted a critical Stoic principle. You don't need constant external validation to confirm your worth. Your value is inherent and independent of recognition. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this principle clearly. The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them knows anything about the subject. Your genuine worth is not determined by external approval or acknowledgement, but by your intrinsic character and integrity. Practically applying this Stoic wisdom involves thoughtful, deliberate steps. First, recognize clearly when your continuous availability diminishes your perceived worth. Second, choose intentional and composed withdrawal rather than emotional confrontation. Third, observe carefully who genuinely notices your absence, reaffirming connections with those who truly value you. This approach is not passive. It's a profound demonstration of strength and emotional maturity. You reclaim your dignity not by demanding attention, but by letting your strategic silence speak volumes about your value. Stoicism guides you to find empowerment and clarity in your own self-awareness and intrinsic worth, rather than external validation. If this empowering Stoic wisdom resonates deeply with you, consider subscribing to True Stoic Way right now. True Stoic Way is dedicated to providing practical Stoic insights, fostering emotional resilience, and helping you navigate life's complexities with clarity and strength. Click subscribe to join our thriving community committed to personal growth and profound wisdom. In our next segment, we'll address another vital scenario. How should you respond when others persistently provoke you, deliberately attempting to destabilize your emotional balance? The Stoic response is powerful, clear, and liberating, ensuring you maintain unwavering control and inner peace. Ready to continue exploring the empowering insights of Stoicism? Let's keep moving forward. When others persistently provoke you, their intention often isn't to resolve issues or reach clarity. It's to disturb your peace, destabilize your emotional equilibrium, and draw you into unnecessary conflict. These provocations might appear subtle, masked behind sarcasm or passive-aggressive remarks, or they might be more direct and confrontational. Regardless of their form, provocations consistently seek a reaction, a sign of your emotional vulnerability. However, Stoicism presents a powerful alternative: composed, deliberate silence. Marcus Aurelius, the renowned Stoic emperor, articulated this principle powerfully. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Reflect on this wisdom deeply. The provocations themselves aren't what truly harm you. Rather, your reaction and emotional involvement determine their impact. By choosing not to engage, you effectively disarm the provocateur. Consider Adam, who faced constant provocations from a colleague known for stirring conflict. In meetings and casual interactions alike, this colleague made sarcastic comments, subtle jabs, and passive-aggressive remarks clearly designed to irritate Adam. Initially, Adam frequently found himself emotionally reacting, becoming defensive, or even arguing openly, precisely the response his colleague desired. Realizing this pattern, Adam turned to Stoic teachings for guidance and adopted a strategic silence approach. He consciously refused to engage emotionally. Instead of defending himself or retaliating, Adam responded with calm nods, neutral smiles, and composed silence. His silence wasn't passive. It actively demonstrated emotional resilience and clear self-control. Over time, Adam's strategic silence yielded powerful results. Without emotional reactions, the provocations became ineffective. The provocateur, deprived of the emotional engagement he craved, found himself increasingly frustrated and ultimately abandoned his tactics. Adam's silence highlighted his internal strength, clarity, and resilience more effectively than words ever could. Seneca, another influential Stoic philosopher, offered profound insight. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This wisdom emphasizes that provocations only have the power you grant them. When you choose not to internalize these provocations or respond emotionally, their ability to disturb your peace evaporates. Applying Stoic wisdom practically involves several deliberate steps. First, clearly recognize provocations as attempts to destabilize your emotional balance. Second, maintain emotional detachment by refraining from impulsive responses or explanations. Third, consistently uphold your composure, allowing your strategic silence to powerfully communicate your strength and self-control. Stoicism underscores a vital truth. Real strength is not loud, reactive, or aggressive. It lies in disciplined calmness and composed silence, especially when faced with intentional provocations. Your silence becomes your most profound response, clearly indicating that external actions cannot disrupt your internal tranquility. If this Stoic wisdom resonates deeply with you and you seek further practical insights for emotional resilience, consider subscribing now to True Stoic Way. Our mission at True Stoic Way is to guide you through life's complexities using timeless Stoic teachings, fostering clarity, strength, and profound inner peace. Click subscribe to join our community dedicated to personal growth and emotional mastery. Next, we'll explore another deeply relatable scenario. How do you respond effectively when others regret losing you only after you've withdrawn? The Stoic perspective offers powerful strategies to preserve your dignity and inner peace. Ready to continue discovering Stoicism's empowering insights? Let's move forward. There inevitably comes a moment when those who took you for granted begin to recognize your true worth. But often this realization occurs only after you have stepped away. Initially, your consistent presence, generosity, and unwavering support may have seemed ordinary or expected. Yet the moment you withdraw, those very traits they undervalued suddenly become glaringly absent, leaving a void too significant to ignore. Epictetus, a wise Stoic philosopher, offered insight into self-mastery, stating clearly, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In these moments, Stoicism teaches that your greatest power lies not in returning to prove your worth or seeking reconciliation, but in maintaining your deliberate, composed absence. This absence isn't vindictive or punitive. It's a profound affirmation of your self-respect and inherent value. Reflect carefully on this truth. If someone only appreciates your value after losing you, they likely never truly recognized it when it mattered most. Returning easily or quickly in response to their newfound regret may inadvertently reinforce their belief that your value is conditional or temporary. Instead, Stoicism advocates for self-respect through firm boundaries, reminding you that dignity is preserved not by returning to where you were undervalued, but by confidently standing apart. Imagine Olivia, who gave deeply and consistently to her relationship: time, love, energy, patience. Her partner, accustomed to her constant support, gradually began taking her presence for granted. Olivia's efforts went unnoticed, her contributions unappreciated, her emotional needs ignored. Without dramatic confrontation or emotional turmoil, Olivia quietly and deliberately chose to step away. Initially, her absence was brushed aside, but as days became weeks, her partner's complacency turned to confusion, then genuine regret. Only in the silence of Olivia's absence did her true value become painfully clear. Suddenly, memories of her care, dedication, and genuine support surfaced vividly, revealing what had been lost. Her partner reached out with apologies and promises, realizing too late the significance of Olivia's consistent and loving presence. Yet Olivia, guided by Stoicism, understood clearly that returning simply because someone finally recognized her worth would undermine her self-respect. She had already found inner clarity and emotional strength through her composed withdrawal. Her silence was powerful, dignified, and entirely self-affirming. Marcus Aurelius wisely counseled, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." Olivia's withdrawal was not about causing pain or seeking revenge. It was about acknowledging her intrinsic value and maintaining her dignity. By stepping away without emotional turmoil or resentment, she demonstrated profound self-awareness and maturity. Stoicism underscores the vital truth that true respect and appreciation are not reactions to loss, but consistent acknowledgments of worth. Individuals who only value you after you've withdrawn typically reflect emotional immaturity or unresolved personal insecurities. Your task isn't to fix their delayed regret, but to honor your own emotional health and integrity. Practically applying Stoic wisdom involves deliberate and thoughtful steps. First, clearly recognize when consistent undervaluation necessitates your dignified withdrawal. Second, resist returning prematurely, even when faced with sincere apologies or renewed appreciation. Lastly, use your composed silence to clearly and powerfully communicate your self-respect and inner peace. Stoicism does not advocate cruelty or harshness. It teaches profound compassion, including self-compassion. Your deliberate absence is an expression of emotional maturity, clearly indicating your understanding of intrinsic value and genuine respect. In concluding this journey through Stoic wisdom, we'll reflect on these powerful lessons, bringing together the transformative power of strategic silence across various challenging scenarios. Let's now move towards a profound reflection on how these insights can fundamentally reshape your approach to life's inevitable emotional trials. There inevitably comes a moment when those who took you for granted begin to recognize your true worth. But often this realization occurs only after you've stepped away. Initially, your consistent presence, generosity, and unwavering support may have seemed ordinary or expected. Yet the moment you withdraw, those very traits they undervalued suddenly become glaringly absent, leaving a void too significant to ignore. Epictetus, a wise Stoic philosopher, offered insight into self-mastery, stating clearly, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In these moments, Stoicism teaches that your greatest power lies not in returning to prove your worth or seeking reconciliation, but in maintaining your deliberate, composed absence. This absence isn't vindictive or punitive. It's a profound affirmation of your self-respect and inherent value. Reflect carefully on this truth. If someone only appreciates your value after losing you, they likely never truly recognized it when it mattered most. Returning easily or quickly in response to their newfound regret may inadvertently reinforce their belief that your value is conditional or temporary. Instead, Stoicism advocates for self-respect through firm boundaries, reminding you that dignity is preserved not by returning to where you were undervalued, but by confidently standing apart. Imagine Olivia, who gave deeply and consistently to her relationship, time, love, energy, patience. Her partner, accustomed to her constant support, gradually began taking her presence for granted. Olivia's efforts went unnoticed, her contributions unappreciated, her emotional needs ignored. Without dramatic confrontation or emotional turmoil, Olivia quietly and deliberately chose to step away. Initially, her absence was brushed aside, but as days became weeks, her partner's complacency turned to confusion, then genuine regret. Only in the silence of Olivia's absence did her true value become painfully clear. Suddenly, memories of her care, dedication, and genuine support surfaced vividly, revealing what had been lost. Her partner reached out with apologies and promises, realizing too late the significance of Olivia's consistent and loving presence. Yet Olivia, guided by Stoicism, understood clearly that returning simply because someone finally recognized her worth would undermine her self-respect. She had already found inner clarity and emotional strength through her composed withdrawal. Her silence was powerful, dignified, and entirely self-affirming. Marcus Aurelius wisely counseled, "Reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears." Olivia's withdrawal was not about causing pain or seeking revenge. It was about acknowledging her intrinsic value and maintaining her dignity. By stepping away without emotional turmoil or resentment, she demonstrated profound self-awareness and maturity. Stoicism underscores the vital truth that true respect and appreciation are not reactions to loss, but consistent acknowledgments of worth. Individuals who only value you after you've withdrawn typically reflect emotional immaturity or unresolved personal insecurities. Your task isn't to fix their delayed regret, but to honor your own emotional health and integrity. Practically applying Stoic wisdom involves deliberate and thoughtful steps. First, clearly recognize when consistent undervaluation necessitates your dignified withdrawal. Second, resist returning prematurely, even when faced with sincere apologies or renewed appreciation. Lastly, use your composed silence to clearly and powerfully communicate your self-respect and inner peace. Stoicism does not advocate cruelty or harshness. It teaches profound compassion, including self-compassion. Your deliberate absence is an expression of emotional maturity, clearly indicating your understanding of intrinsic value and genuine respect. As we conclude this profound journey through the wisdom of Stoicism, remember that strategic silence is more than just a passive choice. It is a deliberate, empowering strategy for maintaining emotional integrity and personal dignity in life's most challenging moments. Whether facing betrayal, insults, gossip, manipulative victimhood, undervaluation, provocations, or delayed regret, the Stoic way guides you towards inner peace and true resilience. If you're committed to deepening your understanding of Stoicism and mastering emotional strength and self-control, now is the perfect moment to take action. Subscribe to True Stoic Way and become part of a community dedicated to embracing life's trials with clarity, composure, and wisdom. Click subscribe today and let's walk together on this empowering path toward profound personal growth.